Hi guys, welcome to ABB Black. Our today's episode is about statement of the problem, scope and delimitation, and hypothesis. Let's start with the statement of the problem. Before you going to create or make your own statement of the problem, you must have your approved title first. The approved title will be your guide to create your own questions. The questions must be congruent to your title. The clue for making your title in making your SOP is to identify the different variables that is within the title. After that, please plan your process. The process that you're going to do with your title. If you're going to assess it, if you're going to uh, check the different profiles or the different datas, you have to mention in question on how are you going to gather your data. The statement of the problem in a quantitative research can be 3 or 5 questions. Now, let's go over to the scope and delimitation. If you're going to create your scope and delimitation, the first thing that are going to do is to state the different respondents that is within your study. Then, you explain how many population or number of respondents that is within your study. You have to be specific. If you're going to use one gender only, you have to say it. If you're going to use a certain cluster, you have to say it because that will be the limit of the scope of your research. Meaning, if that is 1,000 and then you don't like 1,000, you're just going to select 100, you have to state it that you only select 100,000. Furthermore, there are some cases that you have to mention what type of sampling technique or uh, the sample size that you're going to use in determining your population. Next is the location. You have to identify your location. So you have to identify the location. You have to be specific what location it is. You have to specify every details of the location or the building or even the uh, the vicinity where you can find your respondents. Another thing is you have to be very careful with the the ethical issues. You have to mention if there is an ethical issues that will be covering on your study, because the ethical issue is very important in making a research. Somehow there are very sensitive issues like in gender, the LGBT, and some other sensitive issues like the human parts or even in mental aspect or psychological aspect of a person. Also with the life of a certain respondents, there are some cases that you have to be very careful because the respondents can be affected on your study. The last part would be the hypothesis. The hypothesis is a question. It could be answerable by yes or no, but of course you're not going to answer it yes or no. An example is that, is there a significant relationship between variable 1 and variable 2? Is there a significant difference between variable 1 and variable 2? You have to identify your hypothesis if it is alternative hypothesis or null hypothesis. You simply choose one of it. But of course, in our class, in inquiry, investigatory, immersion, you have to use null hypothesis, meaning the negative side of the hypothesis. If you have some query and questions about the statement of the problem, scope and delimitations, and the hypothesis, feel free to put your questions on the chat box or comment box. By the way, if you like our video, please don't forget to subscribe and share. Bye-bye!